simple probability. It's just calculating what could happen. Everything that we did up here on slide number 3, that was all what we call theoretical probability. That's what we expect to happen. Now we're going to get into talking about the different types, because there are 2. One of them is theoretical probability that we just did a little bit of, and one of them is called experimental probability. Experimental probability is the total number of times an event occurs to the total number of trials. This is going to be a ratio, usually written in fraction form like we saw before. Usually written in a fraction like we saw before. It is based on data. I wrote that again over here because it's so important. If they give you information in a table, they have tally marks somewhere, they told you that there was a school survey, this is their information from the survey. If they give you data, if they give you information, that makes it experimental. Experimental is what actually happens. Experimental is what actually happens. Like I said, it's often displayed in tables. Often displayed in tables. That is experimental probability. What we just saw before was theoretical. Theoretical probability is what you expect to happen. What you expect to happen. If I flip a coin 2 times, I expect one of them to be heads and the other to be tails, but that doesn't always happen. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'll flip my coin 2 times and they're both tails. Sometimes they'll both be heads. That would be experimental because I actually did something. There's data. Theoretical is what you expect. Experimental is what actually does happen. Theoretical probability is the probability of an event happening based on all options. Based on all options. It is all based on chances. The chances of something happening, not what did actually happen. We look in the world, and an example I like to think about is when you write, you are left-handed or right-handed. There's 2 options. But is the world split like 50-50 for right-handers and left-handers? No. Only about 10% of the population actually uses their left hand, while 90% uses their right hand. So even though there's only 2 options, in theory, you'd have a 50-50 chance. But experimentally, when we look at the whole world, that's not true. That doesn't match up with what we would expect to happen. For most information, as the number of trials increases, the experimental probability comes close to, or approaches, that's the word they wanted, approaches the theoretical probability. They get a lot closer together. I'm going to link a video to something I did last year with rolling a dice just a few times, and then a little bit more and a little bit more. And the more rolls I did, the closer those probabilities got to the 17% that you would expect to have happen. Again, the biggest thing here, experiment, you have to experiment, you have to do something, you need data. Theoretical probability is just based on chance. It's what you expect to happen.